Welcome back to the VS Showdown. Today we dive into chaos. What if the Titans arrived in Boston sooner? Before the final clash, before Godzilla roared victorious, the battlefield changes and destiny rewrites itself. It's 2019, and Godzilla is fighting Ghidorah in Boston. Godzilla blasts Ghidorah off, he gets up, then he sees something in the distance. It crawls towards him. It's Scylla. Scylla charges at Godzilla. She tears up. Godzilla charges back. Godzilla goes under her and slams into her, grabs her by the legs and throws her. Godzilla then hears another roar. The Queen Muto. The Queen Muto charges and releases an EMP, weakening Godzilla a bit. The Queen Muto charges and tries to tackle Godzilla, but he dodges and slashes at her eye. Then Godzilla gets knocked away by gravity beams. Godzilla gets back up to only get stabbed by Scylla's legs. He turns and smacks her away. The Queen Muto takes this and rears up and stabs her claws into Godzilla. Godzilla falls down. He uses his tail to whip the Queen Muto away. Godzilla gets up to only get punched by Behemoth. He falls down again but gets up and rams his body against Behemoth, making him fall. Then he hears a roar. Methuselah! Methuselah charges, but Godzilla charges up and shoots his atomic breath at Methuselah, knocking him back. Ghidorah looks over and sees a power station. He leans down and bites into it, and a burst of lightning comes out of his wings. It burns Godzilla and makes him stumble back. Ghidorah flies up and lands on Godzilla and flies him up above the clouds and throws him down. Ghidorah charges up and shoots all his gravity beams at Godzilla, making him fall faster to the ground. Godzilla slams into the ground. Ghidorah lands in front of Godzilla. Mothra flies in and distracts him, but Rodan comes in and rams into Mothra. Godzilla slowly gets up. He roars at Ghidorah but then hears it. A roar from the distance. A roar he knows all too well. He looks over and sees him, the rival, now the ancient rival, more bruised and scarred. He has Gojira hide wrapped around his hands and arms, holding a dorsal plate-tipped spear, and holding a bone chain with a ball of dorsal plates tied to it, the dorsal lash. Scylla roars and charges at the ancient rival. The ancient rival dodges, and gives Scylla a strong left hook, knocking her down. The ancient rival rears back and throws his spear at the Queen Muto. It stabs through her leg. Behemoth charges and moves and slams his tusks into the ancient rival, knocking him down. The ancient rival gets up and unwraps the dorsal lash from his arm and throws it back and throws it at Behemoth. The dorsal plates stab into Behemoth's side. Behemoth roars in pain as he charges. He slams his tusks against the ancient rival, making him fall to the ground. Behemoth rears up ready to crush the ancient rival's head in. The ancient rival rolls out of the way and Behemoth's hand crashes where the ancient rival's head just was. The ancient rival grabs Behemoth's tusks and brings him down to the ground with him. The ancient rival gets up and sees the Queen Muto is gone and his spear is in the ground. Suddenly the Queen Muto comes up behind him and stabs her claws into the ancient rival. The ancient rival stumbles and runs up and grabs his spear and sees the Queen Muto jumping at him. He rears back the spear and using it like a bat slams it against the side of her head, making her go flying. Methuselah finally decides to join and run at the ancient rival. The ancient rival stabs his spear into the ground, reels back. His fist has Methuselah get right in front of him, and he punches Methuselah as hard as he can in the jaw. A crack echoes as Methuselah's jaw breaks. Methuselah roars in pain as the ancient rival looks over and sees the Queen Muto getting back up. The ancient rival grabs his spear and runs up and jumps up, holding the spear above his head, and jumps onto the Queen Muto, the dorsal plate blade going through her head. She falls on the ground. The ancient rival grabs the spear and holds it up as he roars in victory. He looks over at Godzilla, who roars at him. Godzilla charges and the ancient rival charges back. He rears back and punches Godzilla across the face. Godzilla falls back but uses his momentum to slam his tail into the ancient rival, making him go flying back. He stabs his spear into the ground, making him slow down. He gets up and looks over, seeing Ghidorah, Godzilla, Methuselah, Scylla, and Behemoth. He thinks he is outmatched and way over his head. So he runs away. Godzilla thinks he is a coward not wanting to fight, then he gets hit by gravity beams. The ancient rival runs to a hollow earth portal and jumps in. He lands on the ground, warbats flying around. He gets up and heads towards the great ape's lair. He opens the door and stands, seeing his old throne in the middle of the room. He walks up to the throne and sits down. He focuses and starts to absorb all the energy from the great ape lair. Godzilla crashes into the ground, tumbling across the ground. Ghidorah stands tall, looking down at Godzilla. Mothra crawls onto Godzilla, looking at Ghidorah, and flies at Ghidorah. Ghidorah charges up and shoots his gravity beams at Mothra, disintegrating her. Her golden ashes fall onto Godzilla. Ghidorah slithers over to Godzilla but gets distracted by the orca in a car and follows it. He reaches it, ready to attack, but he hears it, looking over and seeing Godzilla in his thermonuclear form. Ghidorah roars at him and he roars back. Ghidorah shoots his gravity beams at Godzilla, but it does nothing to him. He laughs at Ghidorah's pathetic attempt, charges up and releases a thermonuclear pulse. It burns Ghidorah's wings off. Ghidorah falls onto the ground, looking up at Godzilla almost with fear. He pulses again, evaporating both of Ghidorah's heads. Godzilla walks over and stomps his foot onto Ghidorah's chest, breaking through it and causing a giant explosion, making a huge crater. After the dust settles, Godzilla stands up from the rubble. He looks around, seeing Rodan, Methuselah, Behemoth, and Scylla. He roars up into the sky, becoming the Alpha. But suddenly, he gets stabbed in the back with the dorsal plate spear, and it blows up from overloading with energy. Godzilla falls to the ground, most of his dorsal plates now gone. Godzilla looks back and sees the ancient rival. The Gojira hide wrapped around his hands is now glowing blue, his eyes now a piercing blue, and his fur tinted a light blue. He is now the atomic rival. Godzilla thought he was a coward for running away. The atomic rival slides down the crater's wall, lands on the ground and runs towards Godzilla. Godzilla roars and charges at him. They collide in the middle. Godzilla goes for a bite, but the atomic rival dodges to the side, grabs Godzilla and slams his fist down onto his back. Godzilla roars and throws him off of him. The atomic rival stands and charges his fist, his hand glowing blue. He reels it back and slams it onto the ground. Energy travels in the ground and goes up right under Godzilla, creating a burst of energy. Godzilla gets sent into the air and crashes into the ground. The atomic rival jumps up and lands on Godzilla, punching him left, right, over and over again. Godzilla's blood splatters the ground. Monarch is now very much panicking. Godzilla is getting the crap beat out of him, but almost every other Titan is either dead or scattered across the globe. The closest one is Kong. They turn their ships around and head to Skull Island. They have been working on a serum, L-1962, that would be shut down in 2026, that could give Kong a big advantage. They arrive at Skull Island in chaos. Skull crawlers are everywhere, the island is almost destroyed. Kong is working overtime to kill those skull crawlers. Jets fly out shooting at the skull crawlers. They are easy to take out due to their soft fleshy skin. Kong looks up seeing the jets. He roars, clearly not happy about them invading the island. One of the jets releases a yellow jet that flies down and lashes onto Kong's upper arm. Kong roars as he is about to rip it off, but a skull crawler attacks, occupying his other hand. Kong is injected with the serum. The jets continue to attack the other skull crawlers. Kong slams the skull crawler down and slams his foot down onto it, killing it. Then the first serum takes effect and Kong falls to one knee, then falls over and passes out. The yellow jet transforms and swaps out the serum to the L-1962 serum and injects Kong with it, while jets fly down putting a net under him and fly him up and out of Skull Island. Kong is transported to the battle. Kong suddenly jolts awake and sits up. He has no idea where he is, a land with destruction everywhere. This is definitely not Skull Island. Kong gets up and rips the yellow jet off his arm, throwing it down. He looks over to a crater in the distance and can hear sounds coming from it. Sensing something isn't right, Kong runs towards the crater. He stops at the edge. Godzilla gets slammed into the crater's wall, falling over bloody and bruised. The atomic rival stands a few feet away from Godzilla. The atomic rival is about to attack, but he looks up and sees Kong standing at the edge. After Scar King left him to die, he doesn't trust anyone or anything, not even another great ape. The atomic rival charges his fist and slams it down onto the ground. The energy travels, and the ground below Kong glows. Kong looks down and quickly dives out of the way as the burst of energy barely misses him. Lightning strikes Kong as he stands up. He is now Zeus Kong. He roars at the atomic rival, his fist glowing white from the lightning in it. He leaps from the top of the crater and lands a punch onto the atomic rival, making him go flying and crashing into the other side of the crater. Godzilla looks up, and he can't believe what he is seeing. Another great ape that is attacking the rival? The atomic rival busts out of the rubble and slams his fists onto the ground, looking at Zeus Kong, his eyes glowing blue. Zeus Kong looks back, lightning swirling around him, eyes glowing white. The atomic rival roars and charges at Zeus Kong. Zeus Kong roars back and charges. They collide in the middle, their hands holding onto each other as shockwaves fly out as they collide in the middle. The atomic rival pushes, making Zeus Kong go lower down onto the ground. Zeus Kong roars and lightning strikes the atomic rival, making him stumble back. The atomic rival shakes his head and rams into Zeus Kong, slamming his back into the wall of the crater. The atomic rival goes for a punch, but Zeus Kong dodges it and elbows the atomic rival. The atomic rival reels back his hand, glowing as bright as a Gojira dorsal plate, and slams it into Zeus Kong. He gets shot into the air and slams through the edge of the crater, landing outside of it. The atomic rival stares at where Zeus Kong went, then the ground shakes and he hears rapid approaching footsteps. A destroyed building is launched from the edges of the crater. The atomic rival charges his fist and punches it, making it crumble, but Zeus Kong, glowing white, comes out of nowhere and punches the atomic rival. Zeus Kong flips over the atomic rival, runs to his back, and punches him with a lightning-charged fist. The atomic rival slams onto the ground. Zeus Kong raises both of his hands. Lightning strikes them as he slams them down onto the back of the atomic rival. The atomic rival roars in pain and pulls his hand behind his back, grabs Zeus Kong's head and slams it into the ground. The atomic rival grabs Zeus Kong and throws him. The atomic rival looks over to see the dorsal lash. He runs over and grabs the end of it, ripping it off and holding the dorsal plates between his fingers. He looks over, seeing Zeus Kong getting up shakily. The atomic rival runs over and slashes the dorsal plates at Zeus Kong's face, making deep cuts, and the atomic rival punches him away, his back slamming into the rocky wall. The atomic rival is about to attack again, but Godzilla bites down onto the atomic rival's arm and drags the atomic rival with him before the atomic rival overpowers Godzilla again. Monarch thinks and decides to help. They send out all the electric jets they can get at that moment. They fly to Zeus Kong. They explode right before they make contact. Zeus Kong roars and immediately gets a power-up. Absorbing the energy, he roars at the atomic rival, charging, pulls back, and punches the atomic rival with a lightning-infused punch, making him go flying back, slamming into the crater, digging into it. The atomic rival jumps out of the rubble and claps his charged hands together, making an atomic shockwave. It hits Zeus Kong, but he saves it with a roll. Zeus Kong runs up and jumps in the air. He reels back his hand as far as he can, his fist glowing as bright as the sun, and he hits the atomic rival square in the face. A giant lightning atomic explosion flies out. The dust clears. Zeus Kong is on the ground, badly bruised and bleeding. The atomic rival is laying on the ground, his face now gone. Godzilla gets up and looks through the dust and walks over to Zeus Kong. Zeus Kong looks up and Godzilla nods his head in approval and walks off. Kong gets up and roars in victory. And there you have it. What do you think would have happened if even more Titans arrived? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, stay epic.